Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video we learned about pipes and how they transform our input into a different format according to our needs. In this video we are going to talk about the forms in Angular and how they work and what are the different types of forms in Angular. Forms are basically combination or the collection of inputs that give us the accessibility to have the data from the user and save it into your database. Like we can say here an input tag, this is an input tag, and we can collect the user data like the username, the email, the password, etc. to save it in our database and do actions according to the given data. Now there are two types of forms in Angular. One is the template driven forms and the second one is reactive forms. Now the template driven forms are the forms that are attached with the templates. Like here we can say template, this is called template hash email or anything, like we can say input tag, and here we can say hash name. Now these are the forms that are called template driven forms because this is a template reference variable. If you remember, we discussed in our previous videos about the template reference variables. So the template reference variables can be used with the template driven forms, and these are the simple types of forms which are used to collect the simple data like the username, the email, password, or anything like that. The second type of forms is reactive forms. Reactive forms are well enough to work with the complex forms like registration forms or the payment information or anything like that. They are more used with the complex things like where we have multiple inputs, select like the options, etc. So the reactive forms are used with the complex things. We can also have an example like here we have the name template reference variable, like we can say here we will cut this and paste it here. Let's comment this. So to use the template driven forms, we'll have to import the ng form or the forms module here in our app module. Like here we will say forms module, so it is imported here. So now we will go back to our app.component.html file. Here we will say hash form is equal to ng form. So to collect its data we will say ng submit, but before that we will use a method like we will say save data. Here we will say user data and we will console it to check whether it is coming or not. So we'll say user data. So here we will say ng submit is equal to save user data, save data. Here we will say form dot value, and we will say hash name is equal to ng model. So here we can say there is no way the export is ng model. Sorry, we can use the ng model here. Now we will say here we can say the name or the value should be name. So here we will say we'll also have to have a button type submit. So now we can output anything like John Doe and submit it. So it's not coming here. We can say like here we can say the name dot value. So name dot value, we can output this at here. So this is the value coming from the input, which is the value of the name here. We will save the name dot value. Here we will say John Doe. So this is the data which is coming from this input tag. This is the type of template driven forms. We will talk about in detail both forms in the next videos, but for this video we were just talking about the introduction about these two forms. So the template driven forms gives us access to work with the forms that are simple, but the reactive forms are used with the complex forms.